Hi, welcome to my channel's holiday series. In this series, I'm going to be showing you tons of resin ideas that you can either make for a loved one during the holidays, or you can use these as ideas to sell in your personal resin shop. Each video will be an in-depth tutorial with all of the supplies linked in the description, and I have very carefully chosen items that I know sell really well and make great gift ideas. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you don't want to miss a single video in this series, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy it. Lastly, all of these items I make in these videos will be for sale on my website, www.megdionart.com. Now let's get into today's idea. Alright, let's get into it. I have a whole video on how I reduce bubbles in resin, how I mix it, so I will link that in the description below as well as in the eye. So I mix my resin and then pour it into these little circle molds, and I fill it like less than a quarter, pretty thin, because these are going to be the tops of the pop sockets and we want them as thin as possible, but still obviously thick enough that it's going to coat the entire flower. So then I put the flower in backwards so that the mold side ends up being the front, and I just press down on it to get any bubbles out from underneath it and make sure that it's fully coated all around. And of course, I just use my heat gun whenever I feel like it's needed to pop any bubbles. 24 hours later, we can pop it out of the mold. I took them out a little bit early, which is why they're slightly bendy, but they don't stay like that. They harden more over the next few days. So this is how they look straight out of the mold. Next, I sand it, and I just sand the edges. I'm gonna show you exactly what I sand. I don't go along the sides or anything like that, just that edge right there. And I'm going to now paint the back of it because I super glue it to the pop socket, and if I didn't paint the back, then you'd be able to see the super glue through like how clear the resin is. So that's why I'm painting the back, and I'm just painting it to the corresponding pop socket color. So I happen to have 2 white pop sockets and 1 black pop socket, so I just used the chalk paint. I did 2 layers on the back. I ordered in bulk a bunch of blank pop sockets from Etsy, but I've also found some on Amazon that I also use, so yeah, I will link those in the description as with the rest of these materials. Here's my super glue. I decided to paint the white part of this pop socket as well because it was kind of like white along the bottom, just to blend it all together. And don't put too much super glue because you don't want it to seep out of the sides when you press the top of this pop socket we've made onto the actual piece. So kind of just that much, and then I put a tiny bit on the actual pop socket itself. Take a shot for how many times I'm going to say pop socket in this video. Also, if you want the color to be on the back and you don't want to paint it, you can just do another pour of resin over top, but I just like to save time, and painting it with chalk paint coats it just as well. I hold it down for about 45 seconds. I just kind of count it out, and then it should be all good. But I did find that the super glue seeped out a little bit and it got along the edges of the top piece, so I decided to paint it just to blend everything together because there was kind of a few streaks, and you could see the super glue had made it a little bit like cloudy along the edges. So I painted that also with the chalk paint, and then after 2 layers of that around the edges, I varnished it just to keep the paint on. So this is me doing a few layers of chalk paint along the sides. I kind of wanted to keep it clear, but there were too many flaws and you could see them, so I decided to cover them up with some paint. And then I took some nail polish remover and a little cotton pad and cleaned up the top of it just to take any paint off. And I also did this after varnishing. I couldn't really take a good video of me doing this because my leg's broken. I can't really get good clips sometimes, but here are the finished products. I'm obsessed with these. I think they're so cute. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I hope to see you in my next holiday series video. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down below and let me know which of these 3 is your favorite pop socket. I think I like the greenery plant look. I think that one's my favorite. And I obviously couldn't actually stick them to my phone, so I'm just kind of holding it in place to show you guys what it would look like. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye!